Peer-to-peer fundraising is when an organization, typically a nonprofit, convinces supporters to go ask their peer networks for money for the organization. So basically the ask is not coming from the organization, but from a friend of the organization. A misconception about peer-to-peer fundraising is that people give money to an organization because of the mission. That makes sense, right? It's completely wrong. People give money in the peer-to-peer model because of their friend. It's all about personal leverage. So my job is to get the first peer to do something, because the second peer, about 75-78% of the response, is actually predicated by their relationship with my first peer, not by their relationship with the organization. When you think about a nonprofit, every nonprofit has a relationship with every single person in the world, and we call it an alignment continuum. And most people, almost all people, are down at the low end or the zero end, meaning I have no alignment with my nonprofit or with this nonprofit. At the top end, a very tiny percent of people are highly aligned. Those are the people that we can motivate to fundraise because they have a sense of alignment with the nonprofit. These people, our job is to get them to here so that then we can get them fundraising. You know, when you think about the alignment continuum, you think about, the guy with the decal on his car, that promotes his state college that he attended. Is he more likely to be a donor? Absolutely. He's got an overt symbol out there. He is every day feeding his intrinsic label with that decal on the car. So, everything that we're talking about, from non-aligned, I'm trying to get you to put a decal on your car, to fully aligned and you're raising $10,000 a year, it's really all the same. The how is, when you've got people at zero, you have to establish an intrinsic label. And an intrinsic label means that I'm the kind of person who fundraises to cure cancer, as an example. So once you establish an intrinsic label, then you can kind of push on that label, meaning, well, if you're a person who wants to cure cancer, then clearly you would do this: post a like to Facebook or share a link for me as a nonprofit. So every time you get someone to do a behavior like that, you move them along the alignment continuum until you get them to the point where they will actually fundraise for a nonprofit. At that point, you can start to ask them to do really meaningful things like register for an event, ask your friends for money, ask your friends for more money. So that's how we do it. There are two types of motivation. There is intrinsic motivation and there's extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation means that I'm the kind of person who does a thing because I am someone who cares for the homeless. So that's who I am. I do things that support my internal label. Extrinsic motivation means I'm the kind of guy who wants a red convertible, and I will do things to get the red convertible. So nonprofits have a choice. You have to motivate people in one of those two ways. If you go down the path of intrinsic motivation, then you're continually feeding and nurturing that intrinsic label with activities, behaviors. And if you're pushing on the extrinsic motivation, then you're paying them, is what it comes down to. One of the things that organizations will do is, nonprofits that is, they will survey their participants and they will say, what would motivate you the most? First answer is cash. Second answer is stuff I can buy with cash. Somewhere way down the line is recognition. What we know from research, however, is that people perform better for non-cash rewards as long as they're getting deep into the details here. Personal hygiene needs are met. Personal hygiene in this case means I can pay my bills, I'm not hungry, I'm not cold. If those needs are met, you perform better then for recognition instead of stuff or pay. So knowing that, we keep it in the recognition realm. Unfortunately, many nonprofits will survey their audiences who say, I want cash, I want stuff. I can buy with cash. And that's what they'll offer them. When they do that, they take them down, back to the extrinsic motivation thing, they take them down the path that says to the fundraiser unconsciously, oh, they're paying me. Oh, let's do a little math. They're not paying me very much. I could actually go buy this thing a lot less expensively if I just pay cash for it. I quit. I'm not fundraising anymore. That's how that works. Incentive programs are not all the same. In fact, I would The word incentive probably needs to go away. The word should be recognition, because we're recognizing people. Anytime you can say their name or individually respect them, then you can get traction. One of the things about recognition programs is that the type of gift is important in a couple of different ways. Number one, that it's not what we call retail available. And by retail available, it means that I can put a price on it in my head. I could Google that and find out what it cost. That's a real problem. That's a bad, bad thing. The other problem is sometimes they're too valuable. If they're too valuable, again, you start that extrinsic thing and people are going, number one, they're questioning the use of donor dollars. Are you stewarding the money they collected appropriately? If I can't put the nonprofit brand on it, then I can't imbue it with something beyond the thing itself. You know, I need my nonprofit brand on there to say this is a special piece you cannot buy. And please, you know, don't give the extras to the parking lot attendants, because you just took away all that specialness that we sprayed on this product that said, this is something you get because you succeeded, because you're special, and you did something great. When we get in a conversation with a potential client, what we do first is understand what they've got going on. You know, what are the challenges? What resources do they have? That's probably the most important question. Do you have your online platform? Do you have a robust set of volunteers? We ask questions like that. We ask, you know, what's your pain? Is it that you can't get enough participants? Are you landlocked and you got plenty of participants? You need them to raise more? All these things make a difference to the design of the program. But basically what we do is we go in, define those things, then figure out what kind of communications and recognition will help them fix what ails them. We know that recognition is the most powerful human driver of behavior. So it's sort of an interesting thing. When I say recognition, people in the industry at least think shirts, hats, jackets. But when we say recognition, we mean I'm going to say your name, I'm going to give you a kiss and a hug in some form, and then afterward I'm going to analyze your behavior and give you a better kiss and a hug next year. So that's what we do.